I think this means that a lot of people need to start looking at if they want to play, first of all, and how they will go about doing so safely. And I think uh, we really need to come up with some very tight safety plans because uh, this this coronavirus is nothing to fool around with. Okay, and I worry that about the close contact. So there's going to have to be a lot of restrictions put into place, and I'm interested to see how this all play out. Unfortunately, that news just came out today, so I haven't been able to see anything yet, specifics that have come from the state, other than the news that they're going to let some youth sports begin at the end of the month.
What kinds of precautions from a little league perspective do you think, given, what all of us are following, what kind of precautions do you think you could put into place or any of that kind of a thing to keep people
Well,
safe?
well, Chad, people continue to think that this is a non-contact, not too close distance sport, but that's, as you well know, this isn't always the case, right? You get a runner on first base and you got a first baseman, surely part of the time they're going to be within 6 feet of one another. The problem's going to be, what do you do about players that aren't out on the field? You're going to have to space them apart, hopefully, in some fashion. Fans are going to be an issue you're going to have to deal with. Even officials, what are officials going to do? And I saw some preliminary things from different leagues or different other organizations where they're saying the uh, plate umpire can stand behind or behind the pitcher and call balls and strikes, and so there. And not only that, let's think about the physical things. Okay, what people are touching. Okay, what are you going to do about your facilities? You've got a baseball. You're playing with a baseball. Obviously, multiple people are going to be touching that baseball. You got bats. And if you've ever been to a little league game, either softball or baseball, bats are tossed around from when they're like cotton candy from one kid to another. So there are a lot of things to think about, and I'm hoping that everybody involved in youth sports will seriously think through all the steps that they're going to have to go through in order to actually consider playing.
All of that being said, which are all really valid points, is it feasible? Because I know they said, they're allowed to open up on the 26th, not necessarily that they will. Given all that would have to be done and all the things that would have to be followed, is it feasible to be able to do it, do you think?
Feasible to be able to play?
Hmm.
Um, I think that's going to come down to a decision of the local leagues. It's not a decision of the district organization. It's going to be up to the local leagues. And is it feasible to play? That's going to be their choice, but it's also their responsibility to ensure the safety of its participants, including parents and officials and other people associated with the game. So there's going to have to be a lot of serious thinking going through this. Um, I'm just concerned how we accomplish this and we do it in a safe, orderly fashion. Can we play with the remaining time in the summer? Yes, we can. And I know, talking to my local leagues, that there's a great interest in playing. As a matter of fact, I found it hard to believe that the leagues that want to play, very few parents have asked for their registration money back. So there's great desire to play. There have been a few leagues that have canceled their season, but if there's players in those leagues, we're going to do our best to accommodate them some way to play. But again, it's going to come down to the local boards to make the decision about how they're going to go about playing.
Then the last thing is, given all the safety precautions and everything, then you look from the purely organizational standpoint and you look at the time that is remaining, where we are in the calendar year. What can fans expect? I know the tournaments are always a big thing, very popular, always big crowds and those types of things. What kind of a format or an organizational pattern could we expect maybe if this is all in line?
Well, we've just been bouncing a few of those things around before this news came out today. There's definitely, of course, you already know there's no World Series or regionals, and the state district administrators and my colleagues, we've all decided that there won't be a state tournament. But districts, many districts are going to go ahead and have a district tournament. If we have a district tournament, it will include those teams that want to play. We have to sort out exactly how we would do that, and actually if we would do it, football season marches right up on us all of a sudden. So we're already a little bit behind in schedule. So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to do this. Maybe a shortened season and a very brief tournament season.
Last thing is 26th is the date that it could reopen. Realistically, I know there's not a lot of time between now and then. When could a season potentially start, an abbreviated one at that?
Well, I haven't thought through this entirely, but I think most of my leagues are looking at like a mid-June start. If provided that the late May date doesn't change, give a couple weeks to get all the ducks in a row, so to speak, and then begin a shortened season. And we'll see if the local leagues want to play some sort of tournament or not. It's going to be up to them, and I'll support that if that's what they want. Which I can't say for sure we'd have one, but what I really would like to do is make sure that all the young kids get the opportunity to play, but only if it's actually safe. And that's my biggest concern. I want them to play, but safety comes first. And that's what I'm going to be emphasizing to the local leagues.